north of Athens, south of Elkmont, and push up toward northern Madison County. So you folks in those areas, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. The tornado warning extends through the city of Athens. If you're in the city of Athens, very highly populated, if you're on the north side of Athens especially, I want you to take your tornado precautions and be in your safe place if you're not already there. You can turn the television up, turn the radio up. We're simulcasting right now on Light 96.9 and 97.7 The Zone. So here in Huntsville, if you're listening to us on Light 96.9 or 97.7, we're on the air for a possible tornado west of Athens. This does not impact the city of Huntsville right now. Right now, the city of Huntsville is okay, but if you're in Athens, this is north of Decatur. If you're listening to us there in Decatur, this is north of Decatur. We'll continue to push north. This is going to cross, if it holds together, it's going to cross I-65. Again, very heavily traveled interstate that goes from north to south across North Alabama. And we're looking at some of the areas here. And this is why we switched over to Viper. You can see some of the more, the smaller communities that are being impacted. Poplar Creek. This will head toward Mount Pisgah Baptist Academy. That's one of the many schools that will be in the path probably of this storm. We try to tell you this is going to go just northwest of Reed Elementary School. So if you know, or if you have kids who go to these schools, of course school's out, everybody's at home now. But this is just a landmarker for you to understand where this storm is heading. And again, we're talking about, and this is a very tight circulation. Let's see if we can put a Barron track on this. Let's just show the Barron button and see what the BTI is showing us. Again, if you're just joining us, the BTI is actually something that we use. It's a scale of 1 to 10 to show you the intensity or the possible intensity of the tornado, or if it's on the ground. And the BTI is actually, it can range, we've seen BTI numbers as high as 8 today. And those have been confirmed tornadoes on the ground. But again, what we're looking at right now is the potential, let's see, the BTI number is at 4.4. Okay, so that's a lower number, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's not a tornado on there. That's not extremely low, but it's in kind of the middle of the road. So we'll continue to watch it, but look at the shear. The shear on this is 115 miles per hour. So that's pretty extensive. So we'll continue to watch this. These are the communities that will be impacted: Oakland, Shanghai, Cartwright, Persimmon Grove, O'Neill, and Cross Key, all impacted here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. It's heading toward Bonneville. It looks like it's going to cross just on the north side of Athens. Here's Highway 72 that comes out of Madison County into Athens. And again, what you're looking at there is really close. It's probably crossing State Highway 99 right now, as again, we have a few minute delay on the radar data. But what you're look at that. That is definitely debris within the storm. And this, what are we looking at here?
This is high top correlation coefficient. Also have a report from the Weather Service that this storm is tossing debris over 10,000 feet in the air. So I mean, this is likely a big violent tornado that is in progress right now. Okay, so a big, violent, large tornado possibly producing extensive damage just to the west of Athens. Oh yeah, there's the debris ball right there. That's it. Okay, so folks, major tornado emergency for the areas west of Athens. If you live on the west side of Athens, near Blackburn, along US Highway 72, again, this is already on top of you. If you're ahead of this storm, Elkmont, I-65, up toward Thatch. If you're in the area of State Highway 127 or State Highway 99 coming out of Athens, I want you to take your tornado precautions right now. This storm is definitely producing a tornado. What do you have, Isaac?
Just echoing what you were saying, Spencer, the Weather Service commenting that we have a 120 knots, so that's about 135 miles per hour rotational velocity, so basically 135 miles per hour of shear in this storm. It's near the Clements community. It is wrapped up very nicely, and again, it's a very deep debris signature. They're noting that the debris could be lofted up maybe 15, maybe even 20,000 feet up in the air. air, and they're asking that all the media outlets hit this hard. This could be potentially a killer tornado as it moves to the north side of Athens. Again, this is a very serious situation here for Limestone County, right along Highway 72 and points to the north. We can't give Athens an all clear. It's too close to call. If you live in the north side of the Athens community, you definitely want to seek shelter right now in the lowest level of your home. Spencer, I just want to pass that along to you, is that we're looking at about 135 miles per hour worth of shear in this storm as it moves off towards the north and east.
All right, thanks a lot. And again, this is, and I hate to see this because this is something we don't see very often here in the Tennessee Valley. When you see this debris signature, or what we call a debris ball, very good indication of a tornado on the ground. So here's what I want the folks in Limestone County to do. I want you to stay calm. I want you to go to the center of your house. If you have a basement or a tornado shelter, I want you to be in it. If you're anywhere in central, eastern, northern Limestone County, I want you to be in your safe place right now, okay? I want you to take blankets and pillows with you. If you have a helmet, go ahead and put it on and get in your safe place. Again, this is not a time that I want you to panic, but I want you to just concentrate on preparation and preparing as the storm approaches. Leave the television on, leave us turned up. As long as you have power, we'll continue to stay with you there in parts of Limestone County. Again, this is going to go very close to the city of Athens. And let's look at that actual circulation. And again, you folks up there, oh my goodness, you folks that live in northern parts of Madison County, and we've listed here Harvest, Tony, Hazel Green, you need to go ahead and be prepared. Go ahead and just right now get to your safe place. The tornado warning, it only extends out to the west of Tony. But if this holds together, again, just like the one that was going into northwest Alabama, if it holds together, you already want to be where you need to be. Get off the roads, get into your safe place right now. Again, those are the areas that will, that will be impacted. Let's zoom in a little bit to the circulation here. And again, we're on the west now, heading into the north side of Athens. Tornado emergency for portions of Limestone County. Again, this is going to cross over I-65. This is now moving just between Shanghai and Blackburn. It's on the north side of Athens, crossing over State Highway 127, State Highway 99. We could see winds here well over 100 miles per hour. And I'll tell you folks, I've been in winds up to 125 miles per hour, and you just want to stay in the center of your home. You want to go to the interior hallway. You want to stay away from windows. You want to go to a bathtub. A lot of times, the bathtub is the best place to be because a lot of times it will be one of the places that can survive large tornadoes. So you want to go to the bathtub and be in the most secure location possible. I've seen folks even put mattresses. So maybe if you have a twin mattress that you can pull into the bathroom, pull it in there and put it on top of you. That could be one of the best things you do because that will shield you from any debris. And there's still the potential for debris in this storm, although this doesn't look quite as bad as before, but that's because the debris is now probably falling down to the ground there on the northwest side of Athens. And again, they're putting in a track on this, and this is going to go north of Athens, cross I-65, and head toward the community of Tony and the north side of Harvest. So here's some of the areas of impact. We're tracking these storms as they track east, and we're talking about Bonneville, Piney Chapel, Cary, Oak Grove, Bethel, Ready Crossing, Madison Crossroads, Browns Corner, and Bobo. This is all within the next 30 minutes. If you're in these areas on the top, Alabama Fort to Piney Chapel to Oak Grove, you need to be in your safe place right now. And guys, I don't want to forget about the storms to our south. Let's make sure that we're looking at those storms and there's no other areas of rotation with those. We're looking, and there's the debris ball on that one, very evident on radar. Yeah, we're going to have to watch this one coming in. That's another, looked like there was a debris ball on that one too, coming into Marion County. And So we have two areas that we're watching. We're watching the area of Limestone County. We're also watching this area that may move into parts of Lawrence and over toward Phil Campbell here in the next few minutes. But let's go back. We're watching this area of Limestone County. And again, if you're in the city of Athens, you need to be taking shelter. There's the potential debris with the possible tornado on the ground that's going to cross over I-65 just south of Elkmont, north of Tanner, west of Capshaw. Okay, so here's the city of Huntsville. For you folks who are in Huntsville, large population, a lot of folks on the west side of town there, Madison, Harvest, Capshaw, Madison down here just north of 565. This storm is going to stay to your north. So you may hear sirens here in northern Madison County, but it may stay just to your north. What camera image do we have up right now? I think we've got a camera shot that I saw we pulled up a minute ago, and I'm seeing some lightning on it. Okay, it's from the airport. Okay, so we're still watching these storms. We're trying to get a look at these storms from the airport right now. There's the velocity on this storm, and watch the lapse on this. You can actually see the spin with this storm as it continues to track east, and it does not look like it's weakening a whole lot at this point as it continues to track. In fact, it looks like even an area ahead of it of intense wind just on the northern side. So, and there's the latest image, the latest radar image. Let's see if we can zoom in, and I don't know if we can let's go back to Viper. And if we go back to Viper and we can actually click and put some of those schools, some of the communities there. Okay, we do have reports now of homes damaged west of Athens. So Sheriff's Department reporting homes damaged in the west side of Athens. That was what we were talking about. And again, this is moving into the north side. Here's French Mill. Here's Sarda Springs, Wigginsville. Here's Johnson Elementary School. So this is going to come very close to Johnson Elementary School. Here's Cary, Thatch, Elkmont. Again, the circulation heading directly toward Johnson Elementary School. So if you know where that's at, or if you live in that area, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Look at that BTI. It's up to 7.3 now. It was at 4.4 earlier. So the BTI, which is the Barron Tornado Index, this tells us the threat between 1 and 10 of a possible tornado. And when you start to see those numbers at 7, 8, 9, or 10, it means there's a pretty good chance of an intense tornado. And so these are the areas we'll continue to watch. Again, if you're in Tony, Harvest, Monroe, up toward portions of northern Madison County, you need to be prepared. This storm has not weakened all that much and continues to track eastward. It almost looks like a bowling ball that's just pushing north and east. And we've got a track on it there. You can see and notice how there's a hook, an appendage that goes. We're actually seeing the flow into this storm, and it's just very intense, a very strong possible tornado. So tornado emergency continues for portions of I-65. This is now about to cross over I-65 near Bonneville, Cary. This is going south of Thatch, Sarda Springs, and it's heading toward Tony. We're probably going to get a whole lot more damage reports in when this is all said and done. So we have a lot of folks on this, a lot of areas that people are looking at right now. We have spotters out there looking at this storm as it continues to push off to the north and east. This is actually past Legtown and New Place. Oakland, it's just past you. Ripley, the storm is now past you. Let's zoom out a little bit. I can give the all clear for a few areas. And again, here's what we're looking at. All clear right now for Cortland for this particular storm. Rogersville, you're all clear right now. And again, we're looking at this possible tornado will move into northern Madison County. Here's Huntsville right here. Okay, here's the city of Huntsville, Meridianville, Hazel Green. If this storm holds together, it will move directly into the city of Hazel Green and cross over U.S. Highway 231, 431. So what we're looking at here, here's Highway 53. Highway 53 comes out of Huntsville, goes up to Ardmore, and then over toward Elkton. And again, This is going to pass right over U.S. Highway 53, just north of Harvest, and then potentially toward Hazel Green here in the next little bit. Are they saying anything about extending the warning here, guys?
I have not seen them say anything about extending the warning or not, but I was just noticing one little thing here on the radar, okay? I know it's been a very serious situation, and it continues to be a very serious situation, okay? But one thing I do want to also mention here is the fact that it looks like the rotation may be starting to show signs of weakening. We need to see another scan or two. But we saw this earlier with the big tornado that came out of Tupelo, Mississippi, and then all of a sudden it just kind of died down really quickly. We'll see what this does. It still has, you know, we still have yet to see, but I can tell you that, you know, this last scan does look a little bit less bad than the last several scans, okay? And we are also looking at the debris signature, which really doesn't look all that pronounced anymore, and you could see it. It was very pronounced on the northwest side of Athens, and now it's kind of died down a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the tornado has dropped. And we actually just got a report from a spotter that there's a wall cloud about 15 miles west-northwest of Harvest.
Okay, they are extending the warning downstream, Spencer, till 5:45. This does include parts of Madison County now.
And I think Ari's right. This storm is doing exactly what that other storm did in northwest Alabama. It's actually starting to weaken some, but because of the threat that it has posed, they continued with that tornado warning for Harvest, Tony, and just to the edge of Hazel Green there. So again, these areas need to go ahead and take your tornado precautions. If you're in any of these areas, we've been talking about the fact that they would probably extend the warning. And so I just want you folks there to go ahead and take your tornado precautions, head to your safe place, head to your shelter. If you're in if you have a basement or an outdoor shelter, go ahead and head there now if you're in Harvest or Tony. If you're along I-65 there, eastern Limestone County, you need to be in your shelter right now just because we still don't know if there's a report of a wall cloud. There still could be a tornado there. We don't know that for sure. What's good is that this storm is now weakened enough that it doesn't look as intense or as bad on radar. And that's certainly what we want to see out of this system. You get any more information?
Yeah, just got a report of some debris falling in northwest Athens. This is a friend of ours from UAH, Chris Schultz. He's a grad student over there. One of his family members out there in northwest Athens was reporting some debris falling out of the sky, which is not too uncommon for storms like this. I mean, it seems pretty clear based on radar that at least for a period of time we had a large tornado on the ground that was probably quite violent. And, you know, right now, again, it's still a little bit unclear right now as to whether that tornado is still on the ground right now. We've seen a couple indications that it may be weakening. Still looks impressive on the reflectivity here. I mean, you've still got your big debris ball here. They still got the hook echo, a lot of hail likely on the north end of the storm as well between Ardmore and Elkmont. But this thing is moving toward Harvest and Tony and Meridianville right now. You guys need to take your tornado precautions. I don't want you guys to worry. I know you guys have been through a lot in that part of the county up there, up 53 there, northwest of Huntsville. But please, again, we just want you to take your tornado precautions and be calm. You can just get in your basement or your storm shelter. And again, if you don't have one of those, lowest level of the house, closest to the center of the house, away from windows. So that's going to be a bathroom, likely a closet, something like that. Hopefully you've already kind of planned things out. And I know it just kind of sounds goofy, but you know what? Bring along a helmet. It never hurts to be safe in these situations. Grab some pillows to kind of cover you up, grab a helmet, things like that. And I do think we'll make it out of this all right because, again, we've seen a couple kind of indications that things are weakening at least a little bit. Now, we've still got a wrapped-up rotation here. It's just not quite as intense as it was before. Let me throw on the laps, and you can see how intense it was as it was kind of west of Blackburn there. And now it doesn't really kind of stick out quite as much to the naked eye. So, again, let me just go through a couple of towns here where you do need to be in your tornado precautions right now. Sardis Springs, pretty much right over you right now, so hope you're in your tornado shelter. Copeland School, about 4 minutes. Center Hill, about 7 minutes. Harvest and Tony in about 10 to 15 minutes or so. Hoover, about 11 minutes. Madison Crossroads, 13. Browns Corner, about 14 minutes. Carter Grove, about 16 minutes. 5 Points, about 16 minutes, and Mount Lebanon, about 20 minutes for you guys. And again, we're really going to keep our fingers crossed here and just really hope that this continues to show some signs of weakening. But As of right now, still checking the Weather Service chat. A little bit tough to tell from everything that we're getting in whether we actually do have a tornado on the ground right now, but we do need to treat it as if we do have a tornado on the ground because of the history of the storm and the fact that it likely already did have a violent tornado on the ground for at least 15 minutes, I would say, Spencer.
Okay, so we're in a long-form severe weather coverage right now here on WAAY-31. We're approaching 5:30, and we've had two tornadoes that have produced damage, one in Mississippi, now one here in North Alabama that continues to move north and east into portions of northern Limestone, northeastern Limestone, and northern Madison County. Again, there are all the areas that are being impacted. Let's zoom out. I want to check on that storm in Marion County because that storm certainly was looking pretty ominous earlier, and let's see where we're at with that one. And it looks like that one still has some pretty intense rotation with it as well. Well, doesn't look as bad on velocity. Still a hook, a small hook with it. But we'll watch this storm as it goes through portions of Marion County and eventually through Hackleburg up toward Phil Campbell. Again, storms firing up through Leeton, but the main storm right now, the main tornado-warned storm, is in northern and northeastern Limestone, and it continues to track toward Harvest and Tony. And still looking like, as it passes over I-65 now, that there is a potential for a tornado there, and we'll have to keep an eye on this as it moves toward Hazel Green. Let's zoom in a little closer and show that velocity image one more time, and show some of the roads that will be impacted here in the next little bit.
I've also got a little bit more information. First of all, we've got baseball-sized hail reported at the Elkmont Fire Department. Okay, so we knew that was going to be an issue today. Mentioned that we'd probably see bigger than golf ball-sized hail in some spots. So there's your baseball-sized hail in Elkmont. I mentioned some of the hail in the north end of that system. And also the Clements Fire Department, they've received major damage from a direct hit earlier per multiple reports. So again, you know, it kind of confirms what we had seen there based on radar. We're probably going to be getting some fairly serious damage reports rolling in here over the next couple of hours.
And and what we're looking at is that area right there. It's a little more disjointed is what it looks like. There we go.
I'd agree.
And it's still, but there's still some rotation there, so we're staying with you on this storm as it continues to track to the north and east. I'm hearing thunder now here on Montesano at WAAY-31. And again, we'll continue to watch this storm as it pushes quickly off to the north and east. Let's take a look at the reflectivity real quick, and we can mention baseball-sized hail and that went through Elkmont. I'm assuming that's this area right here. Yeah,
it's over Ardmore right now.
Yeah, so it's over Ardmore. So you're likely seeing large hail in Ardmore into northeastern sections of Limestone and northwestern sections of Madison County. And here's one of our tools to kind of give you an idea of the potential, and it's showing what we do is we make it to where you can understand the size of it a little bit better, so maybe up to egg or even a little bit larger. So we've had anywhere from golf ball to baseball size hail reported with this storm and greater than 70-mile-per-hour winds. Here's Harvest, here's Capshaw, you're talking about Tony. And again, this is all tracking off to the north and east. Here's the tornado warning that extends into Meridianville, Hazel Green. There's the rotation. It will continue to cross over U.S. Highway 53. So here's 53 that goes from Huntsville to Ardmore. And what you're looking at is the rotation about to move right into the Tony community. So you folks need to be taking your tornado precautions. Again, it doesn't look as impressive on radar, but that doesn't mean there still might not be some damaging wind or even a small tornado there. So better to be safe than sorry. Go ahead and stay in that safe place. If you're in Athens, the rotation has now passed you by. So you're going to see a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, some gusty wind, maybe even some small hail. But there in Athens, the tornado threat is over for you for now. So I can give you the all clear in Athens as far as the potential for a tornado. But the area to the north and just around I-65, tracking off to the east, is what we're most concerned about. And if we want to zoom in, we could probably zoom in and label a few streets here and give some folks an idea of what we're looking at. And again, this is the Harvest community. Here's Tony. Here's Highway 53. There's the rotation. And so we're looking at the highway coming out of Athens. That's Alabama Highway 251 coming out of Athens. Here's Highway 53. We're talking about Harvest. And of course, as you get closer into Huntsville, you go down toward US Highway 72. There's Pulaski Pike coming into Tony. And so there's quite a few folks that live out in this area. So you certainly want to stay weather alert, take your tornado precautions. This is just south of Thatch. So you're probably seeing hail, likely some very gusty wind, and possibly that tornado is very close, if there is one, to you there in Thatch. There's the latest radar image, again, along Alabama Highway 251, approaching Highway 53 right now. And there's the latest image there, and it's not showing as much, definitely not showing anything on the scan as far as the debris. So that's good news. We're not seeing debris with this storm anymore. We're not seeing indication of a huge tornado like we were earlier. So certainly some good news. And the folks there in Tony and Harvest, continue to take your tornado precautions, but at least for now, it is not a high-end threat tornado. That's certainly good news, but there still could be something there, and there still could be damage. So we don't want you to let your guard down just yet as this pushes off toward Tony and Harvest and US Highway 53. I'm sure we're getting more reports in, and so you guys seeing anything else out there?
Yeah, I've got a report of some golf ball-sized hail in Ardmore. You know, pretty much to be expected with this type of storm. You know, we had baseball-sized hail in Elkmont. That was from this whole portion of the storm here, and you just kind of put it on the laps here, and you can see how it kind of moved over Ardmore as well. And I had a report from a viewer of some golf ball sized hail there in Ardmore. Now again, as far as this circulation goes, now you can still see, at least it appears to be kind of wrapped up. You've got your hook echo here. Here it is right here, okay? So you can see that little ball on the end. Earlier that was a debris ball. Right now, not really seeing much debris in it. This is very good news, by the way, because I know that this thing was coming right at a lot of communities that have been hit hard. I'm not saying I don't want you in your tornado shelters anymore. If you live in Tony and Harvest, you need to be in your tornado shelter right now. But the good thing is that we've actually seen little bits of weakening in the overall rotation. And yeah, you can see we've still got some rotation in there, but again, compared to what it looked like earlier, trust me, this is definitely an improvement. Now, it's still possible that we have a tornado with this storm, but again, some of the indications right now are really not pointing toward that as strongly as they were earlier. Let me just double check this here. Yeah, that's definitely not debris. Let me just show this debris product. Let me see if it goes back far enough. You see that blue and green color as I do the laps west of Athens? That was actually the radar picking up debris from the tornado. This stuff you're seeing east of Thatch, that's not debris, that's just some other stuff. But again, that laps, you can see that's where we likely had the large violent tornado on the ground, and then things have kind of lifted a little bit, and the rotation is also weakened quite a bit. But I mentioned Tony, Harvest, up Highway 53 there, northwest Madison County, up near Pulaski Pike, anywhere along Alabama Highway 251, we'll say close to the Thatch community. You guys need to be in your tornado shelters as well. Okay, and I just saw a report of a multi-vortex tornado in Marion County with that storm via Facebook. And so we need to keep an eye on that storm as it moves potentially into the Tennessee Valley here in the next 30 minutes to an hour.
That's right, Spencer. The Weather Service in Birmingham, concerning that storm just now, is calling a tornado emergency for western Marion County. So again, that storm is wrapping up very tightly there, passing just to the west of the city of Hamilton there. But again, we're going to have to watch that. It's moving off towards the north and to the east. And again, that may be impacting southern Franklin County or maybe southwestern Lawrence County as we head over the next maybe 45 minutes to an hour. A pretty impressive signature there. And again, they're calling a tornado emergency. That warning goes for Marion County until 6:15. And they're tracking a tornado 9 miles west of Hamilton, moving towards the northeast at 35 miles per hour. So if you live in Hackleburg, Weston, Hamilton, Franklin, Bexar, Scottsville, or Pig Eye, some of those smaller communities there in the northern portions of Marion County, you definitely need to be in a safe place right now. But again, we continue to have that tornado warning for Madison County as well. But, you know, as expected today, we might have multiple tornadoes on the ground at one point. So again, we're going to maybe have to bounce between the two. If this storm continues its northeastward track, we may have to be looking at tornado warnings for Franklin and maybe Lawrence County as well. Spencer.
Okay, and there have been some reports of over 100-mile-per-hour winds as well with these storms and the storm that's moving into northern Madison County. So even if we don't have a tornado, we could have some pretty high-end wind gusts, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. In the meantime, I was just checking out some of the posts here on social media, trying to get updates from some of the folks, and pictures are starting to come in of some of these storms as they push into the north and eastern sections of Alabama. But again, we continue to track, and that storm looks pretty impressive there north of Hamilton. That storm bears watching as it moves into Franklin County at this point. Again, in Hackleburg, you folks there, of course, Hackleburg, Phil Campbell, you've been through this before 3 years ago, and unfortunately, looks like you're under the gun again. We do have viewers in Phil Campbell, and that's a pretty impressive looking hook there. It's very wide. This looks like it could be a fairly broad rotation, but certainly something to keep an eye on if you're in Hackleburg, Phil Campbell. I know a lot of folks there in Phil Campbell watch us here on WAAY-31. Be sure to take your tornado precautions. Even though tornado warning does not include you, I want you to go ahead and go to your safe place, because this storm has a history of producing a tornado, and it also looks pretty dangerous on radar at this time. So we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, we're going to switch into some pictures here, and you can see this is from Bay Hill Marina. And this is some of the damage that was produced there at Bay Hill Marina, and it looks like some awnings of some sort came down there at the marina. A lot of debris. You can even see, looks like some trees in the distance toppled over. So certainly there have been damage, and probably will be more damage reports coming in from these storms as they pass through North Alabama. So you don't want to let your guard down this evening, and especially as we approach sunset, as these storms push north and east. Let's take another look at that storm that's in portions of northern Madison County now. And again, we're not forgetting about you folks. Probably hearing the tornado sirens going off there in northern Madison County. And again, this is Tony. We're looking at US or State Highway 53, and there's the potential rotation. And let's take a look at the velocity on this. And there's a lot of wind with it, but the velocity does not look as impressive right now with this storm. It's kind of a broader rotation, not as tight as it was earlier, so that's certainly some good news. We'll continue to watch it, though. And are we seeing any more reports from this storm, guys?
Not seeing any more reports from this storm. This is very good news. Again, I mentioned this earlier because it was pretty much headed straight for Harvest and Tony. And just to kind of see it weaken like that is, you know, definitely a good thing. Now, we still need you in your tornado precaution, or we still need you to take your tornado precautions. We still need you in your tornado shelter right now if you live in Harvest or Tony. But again, this likely will not be the type of situation like you had back on April 27th of 2011, okay? So please take it seriously, but I don't want you to worry. I don't want you to be scared for your life or anything like that. Just get in your tornado shelter and everything will be fine. We're seeing some signs of weakening with the storm as it moves from west to east. Now, again, we mentioned that storm west of Hamilton that's going to be moving up toward Hackleburg and Phil Campbell. We're going to switch to that one in a little bit, but again, right now, the storm that we're looking at most closely is east of Athens. So we gave you the all clear in Athens. What we mean by all clear is you're all clear for the storm, okay? You still have a chance for more storms later on, and as does everybody, because we've still got several hours to go of this stuff. We're just getting started here still. But again, looks like we've had some damage in the Athens area. I mentioned earlier we had a report of, let's see, we had a report of the Clements Fire Department receiving major damage from a direct hit earlier. And we saw a pretty good debris ball on radar as that moved kind of on the west-northwest side of Athens, close to the Blackburn community, and I'm sure we'll be finding plenty of damage out there over the next several hours, Spencer.
All right, and so we continue with our severe weather coverage. And again, this threat here in northern Madison, northeastern Limestone County, doesn't look as bad as it did earlier, but the threat coming out of Marion County starting to look more impressive. So we continue with the tornado warning, northern Madison, northeastern Limestone. Still another storm to follow that, so we're watching that one closely, but right now not seeing a threat for any tornadic activity from Cortland to Rogersville, just a lot of heavy rain and intense lightning. However, this storm certainly needs to, we need to watch it, because this one has the potential for a large tornado right now. And I think what we're seeing on this side of it, and it doesn't look that impressive on velocity, but on the reflectivity, it certainly looks a lot more impressive. And there have been reports of a large tornado on the ground with this particular storm. You can see the BTI is at 5.7 right now as it pushes towards Hackleburg, Hodges, and Phil Campbell. So you folks there, again, take your storm precautions right now. Go to your safe place. This storm does have a history of producing a tornado, so we'll continue to watch it. I'll let you guys go ahead and look at, let me know of anything else. I'm going to check a couple of things here real quick. If you have anything else to share, please pass it along. Okay, Spencer, yeah, we're in the Weather Service in Birmingham's chat room as well, and they are in contact with a storm spotter, and he is reporting a tornado and a raw cloud together there at the intersection of Highway 17 and Highway 78. Now, that's going to be just near the city of Hamilton, maybe just off to the west there. Again, Highway 17 runs south back towards Vernon, and 43 and 78 is that east-west highway that runs back to Fulton and back towards Jasper as well. So again, they're checking to see if any damage has been reported, but again, we have that tornado emergency in effect right now for Marion County. Again, that tornado warning goes until 6:15. Again, that potentially large tornado is just a little bit of the west of the city of Hamilton, but again, if that storm spotter report is correct, if you're watching us in Hamilton, Hackleburg, maybe even Haleyville in the northwestern portions of Winston County, and then in Hodges and Phil Campbell in southern Franklin counties, you need to be in your safe place right now. Again, we're tracking a tornado that is just near the city of Hamilton, moving towards the north and to the east. Again, that storm spotter reporting the tornado near Highway 17 and Highway 78 intersection there in the city limits of Hamilton. Ari?
Okay. So again, you know, Spencer was talking about this a little bit. These are areas that have been affected before, and I know a lot of people are on edge about, you know, after April 27, 2011. And yes, it is true that this storm coming in.
Just issued a tornado warning for Franklin County.
Okay,
Huntsville did till 6:15.
Okay, so we've got a new tornado warning for this storm. This is the one we've been talking about for a little bit. Until what time was that again? 6:15. Okay, so this is going to include Hackleburg, Phil Campbell. I know these are some spots that have been affected by tornadoes before, namely one very large one back in 2011. And right now we are getting a confirmation that there is a tornado on the ground right now. A little bit tough to tell the strength. We haven't had any damage reports. I can tell you the velocities don't really look all that impressive. And when those storms did come through back on April 27th of 2011, they stuck out like a sore thumb on the velocities. Now, I'm not saying there's not a tornado on the ground, but I am saying I don't want you to be worried about your life or anything like this. I want you to just get in your tornado shelter. There's really no reason to be worried. We don't want to panic, but we do have a tornado confirmed on the ground that's pretty much going to head right up toward the Hackleburg and Phil Campbell area. So maybe we can get a little bit of a closer look at this one here, Isaac. And what he's doing is he's putting on the area that's now going to be under the tornado warning. And there it is. It just popped up. So again, this is coming out of Marion County in West Alabama, west-northwest Alabama. Had a confirmed tornado on the ground about 9 miles west of Hamilton. Again, there's your debris ball right here. You've got your hook echo. Here's where you have all the rain and the hail and the storm. And then you get this little hook down here. This is where the tornado likely is, if there is one. Again, still kind of on the west-northwest side of Hamilton. And it is pretty much moving directly toward the north and east. So this is going to ride up, what is that? That's going to be eventually Highway 43, if I'm not mistaken, out there. Between Hackleburg and Phil Campbell. Probably take a pretty similar path to the 2011 tornado. But again, we are unclear as to the strength of this tornado. All we know is that there's one on the ground, and we need to take it seriously. So again, anywhere along U.S. Highway 43, Marion County, not a good idea to be driving out there right now. Also up into Franklin County as well. This may affect the Hodges area also in Franklin County. I know you guys are likely just getting some heavy rain and maybe some hail right now as well, but Again, this tornado is basically going to ride right up Highway 43. Again, I know that's a very similar path to the tornado a couple of years ago, but just kind of gives you an idea of where this thing is headed. Now, can we take a look at the velocities real quick, guys? I just want to see what they look like, and they still don't look super intense. You can see a rotation down here, but again, it doesn't really look all that intense. But you know, radar's not always perfect in these situations, and we're looking from Columbus, Mississippi, which is actually not too far away from this storm, but a lot of the times what can happen is when you're looking north or south into a storm, it's a little bit tough to see things on the velocities. So, you know, we kind of just look at this reflectivity here. We've got a nice little wrapped up storm. You can see some inflow here. I think there were reports earlier that this was a multiple vortex tornado. Many tornadoes are multiple vortex, so, you know, that's kind of something that's a little bit overused as more of a big deal than usual, but the bottom line is, again, we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground northwest of Hamilton that's going to be riding up pretty much the northwest side of Highway 43 here. It may end up pretty much right along the highway. So State Highway 182 over in Marion County. Again, west-northwest Alabama, north of Hamilton. Nobody should be driving along State Highway 182, U.S. Highway 43, between Hamilton and Hackleburg. That is an area of definite concern right now, and you can see them circling the little debris ball here. Again, we've got a well-defined hook echo. We've had a lot of these types of storms today, and again, this is serious business. We've got to take it seriously, but there's no reason to panic. All we really need to do is just kind of be calm. We're going to get down into our tornado shelters, and everything's going to be okay. Now, would you mind circling that this debris ball here once again, or the possible debris ball? And you know, now we'll switch over to the CC here, which is what we call this product, and I do not see any debris showing up on radar, so that's definitely some good news, but we'll continue to track that storm. I think it's important, guys, we've got this storm that's also going to be moving into Harvest and Tony pretty soon. It had been showing some signs of weakening. I want to double check that storm right now and just kind of you know, make sure that we're not forgetting about you guys, but again, you know, right now, and we'll switch over to the high top radar here too, and that will help us out also. We've had reports of baseball-sized hail in Elkmont. We've had reports of golf ball-sized hail in Ardmore. So this is just a big old classic supercell. It's dropping some big hail on the north side of it. And we've got a rotation here on the south side of it. Now you can see the rotation's kind of broad. It's definitely there. You can see it's wrapped up. This is the high top radar. You've got reds going away from the radar here, and then the greens coming in inbound toward the radar. So there's your counterclockwise circulation. It's just on the north side of Harvest. This is more going to directly affect Tony than Harvest. So again, you guys should have been in your tornado shelter about 15-20 minutes ago. In fact, we probably gave you a little bit more warning than that, but in case you're not, now's the time. Harvest, Tony, in your tornado shelters right now. This storm, the rotation associated with it has shown signs of weakening a little bit, and if I'm not mistaken, Isaac, do we have any more reports on this storm? Are we getting any ground truth?
I'm not seeing any ground truth on that particular storm, but the Weather Service in Huntsville has now issued another tornado warning for Limestone County. Again, they're commenting that a new cell has just formed, and we need to take a look at that because that's going to also be tracking towards the Athens community, and this looks like it might be tracking some over the same areas, and again, very close to the previous track, and that rotation they're saying is tightening very quickly. That tornado warning now goes until 6:15 this evening as well, and they're saying that that storm is located near Rogersville, so it looks like this one might take the same track as that other one does. So, you know, I know that we've been getting reports of some injuries there in Limestone County, and you might need to suspend the recovery efforts because we have another tornado warning on the way there. Ari.
Okay, let's take a little bit of a wide view. I just want to give people kind of an overview of everything that's going on right now. We have 3 active tornado warnings here in the Tennessee Valley right now. The first one was for the Athens area, and that moved now into northwestern Madison County. The rotation is weakened significantly with it, but we still need you in your tornado shelter in Tony and Harvest. It's going over Tony right now. It's going to continue toward the north and east toward Meridianville. We also have a tornado warning for a confirmed tornado west-northwest parts of Marion County. This is west of Hamilton, moving directly toward Hackleburg and Phil Campbell. It's going to move pretty much right up along Highway 43. It's a little bit tough to tell. The strength of the tornado didn't look too impressive on the velocity imagery, but we do have ground for confirmation of that tornado. This is the newest tornado warning that we have. Again, the red box is here, what we're paying attention to, and this one's going to be coming in out of, I don't know if does this include a chunk of Lauderdale and Colbert, or is it just
It's just for Limestone.
Okay, so this this is just straight up Limestone County, and boy, this is a very similar path to the one that just went through. So let's take a look at the velocities on these, and yeah, that's wrapped up pretty well. We'll see what it does over the next couple of scans. At this point, doesn't look quite as bad as the last system that went through, but you're seeing a lot of very familiar town names that we just went over not too long ago, because this storm is almost going to take the exact same path as the last one that came through. So again, you've already gotten some practice being in your tornado shelter. We want you to do that again. Again, if you live anywhere in this new tornado warning, that does include the city of Athens. Once again, I know that's a very populated area. We've been asking a lot of you today, but you know, it looks like at least the west side of town may have taken a pretty good hit earlier as far as that last tornado that went through, and that one was definitely a tornado. We could see it on radar. This one, we can't confirm it yet based on radar. Do we have any ground confirmation of this one, guys?
Not yet.
Okay, so we do not have any ground confirmation. Right now, this is a radar-based warning, and I think this is smart by the Weather Service, because what these storms have been doing today is they've been spinning up really fast. Just almost within 5 or 10 minutes, they go from almost nothing to a very impressive signature, and just as fast as they spin up, they actually kind of weaken just as fast, and that was good news for the Harvest and Tony area, because you guys likely didn't get hit as bad as areas around Athens and just west of there when that first storm came through earlier. So right now, again, we do not have confirmation of a tornado on the ground with this storm that is in Limestone County, but it is going to take a similar path to the last one that came through. So again, Highway 72 east of Rogersville. This does not include the city of Rogersville. This does include the community of Blackburn, Athens, Shanghai, places like that were already affected a little bit earlier. Elkmont, you guys are in this new tornado warning as well. And you can see things wrapped up pretty well here. A little bit tough to see if there's a really good hook echo on that one with a debris signature, but at this point it does not appear likely. Let's take a peek at this Harvest storm one more time.
Yeah, Ari, I was just going to pass along. The Weather Service has now reissued the tornado warning for northern Madison County. This includes Newmarket, Hazel Green, and Tony there into the southern portions of Lincoln County, Tennessee.
Yes.
This goes until 6:15. This is a Doppler radar indicated tornado at the moment, but they have mentioned that this is the same storm that produced apparently some significant structural damage over portions of Limestone County. Again, we're not looking like a tornado might be down right now, but again, with the environment, we have to watch everything. Yeah,
definitely. And again, you can just see it there. I mean, it's a classic supercell. You've got a lot of heavy rain up here on the north side of the storm, likely some hail. This storm earlier produced baseball-sized hail in Elkmont. So what it's doing is it's likely cycling. These storms have been cycling a little bit today. It'll drop a tornado, and then it'll weaken really quickly, and then it'll try to wrap up again. Right now, we're not seeing any debris on the radar, and of course, you're going to be hearing the tornado siren because the fire station with the tornado siren is right across the street from us. So don't let that put you on edge. I know after some of the events that we've been through here, you hear that tornado siren, it could be a little bit scary. So again, we need you to take your tornado precautions if you live in, oh yeah, we've got
tornado now confirmed by Lauderdale County EMA at the Clements High School. I know this is basically just about the same exact area, but they are saying this is a new tornado, not the previous storm.
Okay, so we've got
a tornado down.
So we've got a tornado down, a new tornado. This is going to go over some of the same spots that the last one went over. We had reports earlier of damage, major damage at the Clements Fire Department, and right now we have a report of a tornado on the ground at the Clements, what was that, the middle school or at the high school, Clements High School. Okay, so that's where the tornado is right now. This is going to be moving toward the east-northeast, probably about 40 to 50 miles an hour or so. Again, it's a little bit tough to see on radar, but you know where you see this little rotation here, this is east of Rogersville. It's going to be moving directly along Highway 72, closer to Blackburn. Again, one of those spots that got hit a little bit earlier by this storm. We also want you in your tornado shelter if you're in Shanghai. There we go. There's the radar signature there. And again, this is the high top radar in Jackson County. I feel like this is deja vu. I was just saying the same thing not too long ago. But again, this is on the east side of Rogersville. Green's moving toward the radar, red moving away from the radar. So you've got a counterclockwise circulation there. BTI is 4.8, but you know at this point BTI doesn't matter because we have ground confirmation that there is a tornado on the ground with this system. It's again tough to tell how strong it is, tough to tell how long it's going to last. We don't know exactly what the effects are going to be. What we do know is that if you're in the path of the storm, you do need to be in your tornado shelter right now. Again, nobody should be driving along Highway 72 right now between Rogersville and Blackburn. I know we're simulcasting on Light 96.9, also on 97.7 The Zone. And so if you're listening to us, again, driving along Highway 72 between Blackburn and Rogersville, what we need you to do right now is pull over and try to find a safe spot, a sturdy structure, because there is a confirmed tornado on the ground. I'm going to head back to the radar here real quick. We're going to throw Spencer back in here on the green wall. And again, 3 or 4 tornado warnings now, if I'm not mistaken, in the entire Tennessee Valley.
Okay, so we continue with long form coverage.
Mike.
Mike.
Is your mic?
You can actually hear the tornado warnings. Maybe here we go.
I think this storm's passing north.
Here. All right, so we continue with severe weather coverage. Tornado warnings continue across North Alabama and southern Tennessee for the threat for a few different areas. Potential tornadoes. Now looking at this one seems to be wrapping up quite a bit, pushing into Hazel Green now. It's going to push into parts of southern Tennessee. And again, the tornado sirens you hear in Huntsville, the storm will actually be off to the north. So the threat right now is not for Meridianville and further south. It's for the portions of extreme northern Madison County up toward Hazel Green, New Market. And there's the warning box that extends almost to Elora, Tennessee. And there's the hook. Not seeing a whole lot there on the as far as the debris is concerned. But again, it's something we'll continue to watch, because the concern I have here is that I'm watching this storm kind of wrap around a little bit. And that could be a sign that this storm is starting to intensify. So we'll keep an eye on this storm. We're watching storm number 2. So that's storm number 1. Here's storm number 2 back across the same areas that have already been hit. Blackburn, Shanghai. This one tracking just south of Rogersville. It's almost, as already mentioned, taking the exact same track. What's going on, Isaac?
Spencer, we got another tornado warning now. This is going to be, if we zoom back out, we'll call it storm number 3 here in line. This includes the Cortland community. This is for Lawrence County in northwestern Alabama till 6:15 this evening. Weather Service were tracking a radar-indicated tornado near Leeton, or about 13 miles southeast of the Shoals, and moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So I think what we're seeing here is we're going to have them line up one after another here and kind of train over the same area. So this is looking like a very dangerous situation. One storm in northern Madison County. We have another storm in central Limestone County. And then we have another storm that just formed there and got a tornado warning with it there in the northern portions of Lawrence County. All 3 warnings go until 6:15. And then we're also watching that 4th storm now pressing into the southeastern portion of Franklin County. Spencer, we'll be watching the reports here in the Weather Service chat. For now, we'll toss it back to you.
Okay, so these storms have lined up. Here we go. We have storm number 1, 2, 3, and 4. The tornado warning has been extended into Franklin County. This one, potentially large tornado on the ground, moving through Hackleburg, eventually up toward Phil Campbell. You folks need to be taking shelter there. So several different areas where people need to be taking their tornado precautions right now. And this includes Hazel Green, also includes Athens again, Cortland, all of these areas. And the unfortunate part is these storms are about to line up and go over the same areas. So if you're in Hazel Green, the threat's not over after this storm passes. We have another storm right behind that will move through the exact same area. So if you're in these areas, I want you to go ahead and stay in your safe place for quite a while. In fact, you're going to be there for a while, because these storms are pretty intense. Now, here's what we're looking at. We're looking at the velocity on the radar, and not seeing, I still think this is a pretty intense storm up here. You can see a pretty good velocity couplet there as that storm. And keep in mind, here's what we're looking at. The radar is now down to the south and east of here. So the green is going toward the radar. The red is going away from the radar, and look how it kind of wraps around here. You can see how it kind of pushes in. This is probably where the tornado is, right here, and it's pushing just north of Hazel Green. It's going to cross over U.S. Highway 431, 231. And again, let's zoom into this area and show some of the streets and roads that will be impacted by this storm. I hope you're taking your tornado precautions in Hazel Green right now. Very populated area of Tony and Hazel Green. It's going to cross over Bobo Section Road, West Limestone Road, Charity Lane. We're looking at Elkwood Section Road. All of these areas here in portions of northern Madison County are under the gun. Manley Road, Mulberry Road up near the state line. And again, this area really right over Hazel Green, from Hazel Green up to the Tennessee-Alabama state line. That's the area of most concern. And so we continue to watch this storm as it pushes off to the north and to the east. I've been watching our tower cam and one of our monitors. It's actually looking toward the east and northeast at some of these storms. The lightning is unbelievable with some of these. I know a lot of you folks are seeing that. So we'll continue to watch that. When we see the lightning ramp up, that oftentimes indicates that the tornado is strengthening. So we need to make sure that when we see these lightning strikes going up in the hundreds, that we need to watch the radar, because that's where we could see the increase in intensity of a tornado. So again, potential for a tornado now past Tony, past Harvest, heading into Hazel Green, just north of Newmarket. This will go just north of Newmarket, heading toward Elora, Huntland, just south of Fayetteville. Coldwater, you're in the clear. This is going to stay to your south as well. So let's zoom back out. We're watching a number of areas, and we don't want to forget anyone we're watching here, because you folks in Madison County, we're watching you. Here's Storm Force 31 Viper, and you can see a couple different areas. There's potential tornado heading into Cortland right now that we need to watch out for, you folks in Cortland. This would make a beeline. This would actually go to the south side of Athens. So we've had one on the north side. Now we could potentially have one on the south side of Athens. So if you're in Cortland, let's look at the velocity on this real quick, because that's starting to look a little more impressive on the radar. And again, yeah, there's some broad rotation with that storm as it continues to push north and east. And then let's zoom back down to the storm down there, Russellville, Phil Campbell. We're not forgetting about you folks down there. I know we have several viewers in parts of Franklin County. It looks like a lot of wind, but right now, nothing looking too impressive on radar. Again, it looks like...
Spencer, I was going to say that we have a funnel cloud, report of a funnel cloud northwest of Hackleburg. So the Hackleburg PD reporting a funnel cloud with this storm to the northwest of the city. So I just want to pass that along to you.
Yeah, and that's probably right here. Hackleburg's down here. We're talking about right here, and that's where we're seeing that potential rotation on the radar screen. So we'll continue to watch that area. So right now, we're watching out. You folks in Phil Campbell need to be taking your tornado precautions. Now, let's go back up to northern Madison County. These storms slowly tracking, the whole line is slowly moving east, but the individual storms are tracking north and east, so they're going over the same areas. So that presents a few different threats. We're talking about a damaging wind threat. We're also talking about large hail, heavy rain. There's going to be some flash flooding with these as they move over the same areas. Now here's a look at the BTI. It's at 4.8 right now, so still fairly significant. Looking at shear values over 100 miles per hour. So at the least, we could see 70 or 80 mile per hour winds as this moves through, even if we don't have a tornado there. But the odds are, if we have a tornado there, it's going to cross over the state line just south of Fayetteville. So here's Fayetteville, Tennessee. It's going to be just south of Fayetteville and move through the southeastern part of Lincoln County, Tennessee. So that's the area right now that will be under the gun. This is moving toward Huntland, Tennessee as well. And if you want to, you can actually go ahead and zoom in a little bit more on this storm and right-click on some of the communities there that may pop up. There we go. There's the state line. We're talking about Bellevue, Fisk. You'll be right on, this will be right on top of you, if not, yeah, in the next scan. Looking at Hazel Green, and again, this is heading over to the north and to the east, and that looks pretty significant. Yeah, that's what I was looking at as well. Let's take a look. That could be a debris ball right there. I don't see as much. Certainly the velocity is showing up, but hopefully what looks bad on radar is not as bad out there in the field. Hopefully, this is not as intense. That looks fairly significant on radar, but keep your fingers crossed that this storm just has a lot of wind and not a lot of tornadic activity with it. And the winds can be damaging, but right now, these tornadoes that have been produced in some of these storms have been large, dangerous tornadoes, and we want to hopefully these will start to die down a little as the sun sets. I doubt they will, but they could, and that would be some good news. Here's some of the communities, and again, we're looking at basically this storm pushing off to the north and east. That looks like a classic, as far as reflectivity is concerned, that's a classic look there, classic hook echo. You can see what looks like potentially debris showing up there as this storm moves off to the east. That's possibly, it could be a mesocyclone there in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And then what you're looking at back to the west, still a possibility of a tornado there just south of Cortland heading toward Ripley. This is all heading toward the north and east, toward Tanner and Athens, up toward Bonneville. And this will continue to track east. And let's see if we can see the, yeah, I don't see as much on that one. Yeah.